Bankocalypse drill. US and UK to run too big to fail drill collapse simulation. What's going on, guys? MaKaElectric. It is Monday the 13th of October 2014. Got some Ebola and ISIS news for you. Let me give you this first, though, because I'm not sure many people are aware of this. The US and the UK will stage a comprehensive simulation Monday to check whether the country's financial and banking sectors are still vulnerable to the problem of too big to fail institutions and coordinate their actions in case such a collapse happens. Government financial leaders from Britain and the United States will simulate a failure in a large banking institution on Monday in Washington, D.C. to test effectiveness of each country's banking regulations. Very interesting seeing as how the Dow dropped 500 points last week. Not saying anything's going to come of this, but be advised, banking simulation drills running this week. Now, keep that in mind as I give you all the rest of this news. CDC director says second case of Ebola in U.S. result of breach of protocol. Yes, if you haven't heard, a nurse down in Dallas now has Ebola. How can these healthcare workers keep getting infected when it's not airborne? These trained professionals dealing with Ebola of all things. Let me give you this. Be advised, U.S. Ebola outbreak. Pet found in Texas apartment of infected female health worker will be cared for, says mayor. Apparently her dog may have Ebola. Think about Ebola getting into the pet population of America. That's a scary thought. I'm going to leave you a GLP thread. Attention healthcare workers, why health workers are being infected with Ebola despite protective gear. Very good information in this thread, especially if you're in the healthcare industry. Now, I want to move along. Bumper Tapper 2 put out a great video, and it's good to see you again, man. Ebola scare, cover for Patriot Roundup, question mark. Could be, we've all been talking about this for years. Any big emergency could be cause for a possible false flag for them to start rounding people up. Check out his video for sure. He definitely brings up a good point. Let me give you this. Ebola exposed NBC News crew violates self-quarantine placed in mandatory isolation. Now, going back to the issue of rounding people up, think about the words mandatory isolation. You can very easily lump FEMA camps into that sentence. Don't get me wrong, not to say that these people shouldn't be isolated, them possibly being exposed to Ebola, but you got to look at it the other way too. Scary stuff we're dealing with here. I got some more stuff. Let's talk about ISIS. Would they use Ebola to round people up? Well, they're already lumping us all into the same basket as ISIS. So, combination of the ISIS emergency plus the Ebola emergency, you have a recipe for just about anything you can conjure up. Terror alert: Obama administration finally admits ISIS threat to United States. Be advised. Put a link to this. I thought there were no threat. Just a couple weeks ago, our president was on TV talking about we've never been more safe. ISIS magazine calls for lone wolf attacks on Australians. Be advised if you're in Australia. This article, I'm not sure if it goes into it, but they were also talking this morning on CNN about ISIS calling for attacks on FBI and the media in the United States. Basically anyone in the Western world. So be advised. Everything's on the table right now. I got a backup link on that one. Known unknowns. IS plans to attack U.S. and Canada. Maybe. That from InfoWars. Take it for what you will. I'd love your thoughts on all this. What do you think about second Ebola case? When such stringent precautions are supposedly taken and it's not airborne. Do you think it could possibly be used, if this thing spreads throughout the United States for Patriot Roundup, for gun confiscation? You bring in martial law. Think about all the martial law drills we've seen in major metropolitan cities over the years with the military. Start to put the pieces of this puzzle together, and hopefully it's just, all random. I don't know. I'm going to leave one link at the bottom. Rest in peace. Clinton Township toddler dies from enterovirus. D68 has claimed another young life. Rest in peace to this child and to his family. My thoughts and condolences. That's just another thing we're looking at. It's crazy times, people. Crazy times. Please rate this video. Please pass it around. Make people aware of this information. I love your thoughts on all this. I love reading your guys' comments. Until the next one, you guys take care. Stay safe. Always. I will see you on the next one.